Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this live stream on the Goddess Conference page. Happy solstice, everyone. It's a liminal space and time, and we're very happy to share with you a special event live here on this page with renowned author and teacher and Goddess Conference presenter Jane Meredith. She'll be coming up in a couple of minutes. So before she pops in, I would love to introduce you to her. So please visit her website, which is janemeredith.com. I will leave you a link here, and you can find a link while she's doing the next bit. And of course, we'll be chatting with her at the end of the activity to ask a bit of questions about her recent books, most recent books, which is the Folding Through the Tree of Life, and of course, the other books that she published before. We are very happy to have her here today. And we're very, very honored that she joins us for the Goddess Conference this year that will run from the 1st of August to the Sunday 6th. So please make sure to book your tickets. An applicable link I will leave you under here. So we are ready to welcome in Jane. Good morning, Jane.
Hi. Good afternoon, I should say.
Jane is in Australia right now, so we are in different time zone. Here is very early morning for the UK and the Europe visitors. While for Australia, it's what time, Jane?
3 o'clock in the afternoon. Afternoon tea, you could say.
Okay, it's a good time then. Jane, thank you so much for joining us today. It's such an honor to have you here. It really is, because every one of us knows you in the community. So having to have a live with you, it's actually quite an honor. And it's it's one of those moments where the beautiful things in your library come alive, and it's you. It's really beautiful. So thank you so much for joining us at the solstice time.
I'm really happy to, and it seems fun so far.
Great. I will leave you to our visitors on the website and the page and the YouTube, wherever you're watching this from, or if you're watching this afterwards, welcome. So please have your space and have a good time here.
Thanks so much. To begin with, I would like to acknowledge the land that I am speaking from and living in, which is Bundjalung and Arakwal land. So these are the names of the Indigenous peoples and the lands, which is right here where I am at the moment. And I would like to acknowledge those peoples and their unbroken living relationship with the sacred land, and how that has created a whole way of living with the earth. That those of us who came later as invaders or colonizers, or second or third or fourth generation people, hopefully can learn to show up to. And I'd like to acknowledge their elders, past, present, and emerging. So thanks for having me here on the live stream. I think this is a fun thing to do. And I wanted to do a little intro and talk about some themes of the day, and then do a practice and offering. Like I said, I don't want to just give a speech to a camera. Thanks very much. I'd rather do something. So we're going to be doing something in a few moments. But first of all, my name's Jane Meredith. Thanks for the lovely introduction. I am a writer, an author, a ritualist, a teacher. I was actually at the very, very first Goddess Conference. Like, this is one of my claims to fame. I was there, and I have been coming off and on, but off and on ever since. And I happen to know that was a long time ago, because my son was 4 at the time, and he's now 31. So I'm someone with this long history with the Goddess Conference and with Glastonbury and with many of the people there and the magic there. And it's very close to my heart. And I'm coming again this year. Hooray. I get on a plane, next week. So the themes for the moment, like when I realized we were doing this on the solstice, which is kind of happenstance, like it's the way it's fallen out. This is the date that happened to work, rather than let's do a live stream on the solstice. I began to think about, well, what are the themes here that I want to weave into this piece? And definitely the solstice is one of them. Now, like, it's the solstice here as well as over there in Europe and the UK. But here we're having the winter solstice. which is, of course, the longest night, which was last night, we just had it, and the shortest day, which maybe is today, or perhaps it was yesterday. But anyway, the days are pretty short at the moment. And I've always, because so much is made of the solstices as they appear in the Northern Hemisphere and relatively little as they appear in the Southern Hemisphere, I've always noticed their similarities. Like, yes, you've got the most light and we've got the least, but both of us are having this turnaround moment, this moment where the Earth in its relationship to the Sun is reaching this swing point, and from here, things change. So I was thinking about that as a theme. And then my other theme really is this concept of gates. I'm doing a day-long workshop for the Fringe Festival of the Goddess Conference. It's on the Sunday before the real, proper conference starts. It's a day-long workshop, and it's called the Gates of Wisdom. And I created that workshop because, I work a lot with gates, with the descent work, and following Inanna's journey into the underworld. But this idea about gates, about going through a change or passing a point in one's life, which is no return point, like you can't go backwards. And it signifies a change. It's not so much that it creates a change as it recognizes the change. Like they come together. The gate is the moment of passing through from one stage of life to another, or from one set of understandings to another, or in ceremony, walking into a ceremonial space. And these things have a kind of a change with them that, it might happen anyway. Oh, we come through a solstice, or we can stop for a moment and go, okay, like this is the solstice. What change will I feel myself bringing? What change do I want to recognize that I've gone through in the last 6 months or year cycle? And so I'm kind of weaving these themes together, along with I'm giving a talk at the conference called something like the Song of Life, or Singing the Song of Life, and how we're intrinsically a part of the Song of Life and the Song of the Earth. We can't remove ourselves from it. So those are my 3 themes that I'm working with today, in a kind of mashed up, kind of a slightly spontaneous way. But basically, I wanted to present, I'm going to call it a trance, but you might think of it more as a guided visualization or a little journey, or maybe it's just something that you listen to. I know with a live, people could be doing all sorts of different things. So I'm not going to go into a heavy trance state, but I am going to lead us on a little journey where you get to do some active reflection, if you choose, about this moment of the solstice, and really kind of receive it into the body, and maybe vibrate with it a little bit and send it back out again. And yeah, there are different ways to do trances. Definitely one of them is seated or even lying down with your eyes closed, kind of breathing gently and just letting the voice and the words kind of wash through you. But another way which I really like to do trance is with a pen in my hand, or some people use colored pencils or texters or something. And sometimes I journal, or sometimes I doodle or create things just while it's going on. And that kind of magical space for me. And another way is just to, some people like to move around, or to stand up and just kind of sway or move with the words, and let movement and action be a part of receiving the trance. But basically, my basic rule is you cannot do it wrong. There is no wrong way to experience a trance. Basically, if you just are listening or going for a walk or sitting down and hearing my words, then that's your experience of the trance, and it's perfect. And if you go into a deep vision and don't even hear my words anymore, but have images and memories and things occurring to you, then that's perfect for you. And if it's something else, also perfect. I just think there's no wrong way to do it. So please don't stress about that. Okay, so I'm actually going to begin this trance now, stop talking about it and begin it. And I'm going to begin with a little induction, like a little lead in, and then we'll go through a trance, have a little experience, it'll be about 10 minutes long. And then at the end, I'll do a little lead out. And then there'll be a time for a little chat. Maybe you've got questions, in which case you can post them, I think, and they come up and we can read them, or not. And we'll do a little end up of the session. So to begin this trance on the solstice, or very close to the solstice, I invite us to, I certainly need to slow down, to take a few breaths and settle into the body. Just of course we're always in the body, but just just taking a moment to pull back, maybe close your eyes, or just go into what I call soft focus, where you're not really looking at anything. And just remember, well, firstly, let's remember how we're all a part of the earth. We're not separate from it. And you might just take a moment to remember that. Some people like to imagine they're like a tree putting roots down into the earth, and other people just like to maybe put a hand on their body somewhere, or just feel it inside, that knowing, I'm intrinsically a part of this earth. And that's already beginning to shift our state a little bit as we breathe into that belonging to the earth. And then we come into the body. Of course, we're always in the body, but just remembering, this is my body. This is the body I'm wearing, I'm carrying, I'm a part of. I'm traveling with it through this journey in time into the solstice on this occasion. And then the breath, just bringing our awareness even more deeply to our breath. So we might notice the breath in, and the breath out. And sometimes we notice, like I've been holding a bit of tension, or I'd like to be breathing a bit slower, or maybe it's just fine. Just letting our awareness ride on that rhythm of the breath for a few moments. And into that space, the space of belonging to the earth, of being in our bodies, and of following the journey of breath. I'm going to invite us to follow the journey of breath inwards. The breath as it comes towards our bodies, as we welcome it within our bodies and take it deep within. And we drop within a little bit, drop down, drop into the depths. And on the next breath as well, we allow it to carry us just a little bit further and deeper down. Breathing in, letting the out breath go, and then breathing in again and dropping down. And in this space within each one of us, yes, we're each just a tiny part, a little living speck of this marvelous planet, Earth. And yet also the space within each one of us is vast and connects to all time and all place, the whole universe. And imagining that darkness and depth of the universe that we exist within. I'm going to invite us to conjure up the idea of a gate. And this is a gate of the moment of the solstice. Maybe for you it's the summer solstice, or maybe it's the winter solstice. But this moment of turning and change, a gateway for the solstice. And while we stand on this side of it, you might want to remember or recall what the last year, the last 12 months have been like for you. Some of the things you've done, the places you've been, the work you've been involved in, the people you've been with. For me, this was a pretty special year, this last year. My granddaughter was born into it, very close to the other solstice. And some of the things you remember might have been difficult or challenging, maybe they're even still going on. But I'm going to suggest that at this side of the gate, we can just take a breath with those things and for this moment, lay them down. might want to do that now. There's some other things that might have been wonderful or amazing or very hopeful that we might hope wait for us on the other side of the gate as well as being on this side. Or maybe they haven't happened yet and we're hoping to meet them for the first time on the other side of this solstice gate. But for now, I'm going to suggest that we lay those down, not knowing what it is that's on the other side of this gate. And perhaps you have been carrying or been aware of some difficulties or old patterns or difficult connections or situations that you've been carrying a bit. Maybe just recently or maybe for a long, long time. And I'm going to suggest that this solstice gate seems a pretty good place to lay them down. Maybe just temporarily, but at least temporarily. And so I invite you on the next breath to lay them down on this side of the gate. And taking some breaths into your body, feel what that's like to have laid all those things down. Maybe you feel a bit lighter or looser or unknown. Who knows? And now we're going to get ready to pass into the gate, to stand inside the gate itself. This gate that is the moment of the solstice. So you might imagine this gate as having the rays of the sun. Or maybe for you it's a dark gate with the sun waiting on the other side. Or maybe stepping through the gate is like stepping into the heart of a star, even our local star, the sun. And as you're ready, I invite you to move forward into this gate of the solstice moment, the pivot point, the height that is also the depth and the power of the solstice. And to find yourself there in the center, within the gate itself, and spend a moment there, radiating or in the rays of the sun itself. At this moment, it's summer solstice moment or it's winter solstice moment. It's solstice moment. And maybe you're burning up there, burning all the old away. Or maybe you're shining. Maybe you're sipping of this light, drinking of it like an elixir. And if you want to invite those rays of the solstice sun into every part of your body and being and life, then you can do that now. Because we're only here for a moment, actually within the gate. Just a moment and taking some breaths and feeling that fierce, bright sunlight. And then we're going to be stepping through, moving through the gate, transitioning through to the other side. The next part, the turn of the wheel. One last moment here within the gate, but perhaps already you can feel yourself moving beyond it, shifted like the turn of the earth, like the embrace of a lover, like the next stage of the journey. And we're coming through the other side into the next part of this year, of this life, of this mystery. Whew. And perhaps you miss some of those things you left behind on the other side, or perhaps you don't. Perhaps perhaps you're excited or resigned or happy to be walking towards, moving towards whatever awaits you on this side of the gate. If there was anything really important there, I'm sure you can pick it up again at the right time for you. And maybe it also will have been changed a little by moving through this gate of the solstice. Oh, and taking some breaths just within our body again, focusing on the breath and the body. Having traveled through this moment of the solstice, maybe a little more ceremonially, a little more consciously than we could have, or maybe not. Maybe one of many ceremonies that you're doing, or moments that you'll have with this solstice. Becoming aware again of the breath. And this time, I invite us to focus on the out breath. As the breath leaves our body, we become a little more awake, a little more aware, a little more returning to this room, to this body in this room, or maybe you're outside, to this time and place. Fully aware again of this planet that holds us. That we are a living part of. And just bringing yourself back from that mini little trance guided journey experience. Some people like to kind of pat themselves down a bit or give themselves a little hug or maybe a little shake out. Some people like to say their names. My name's Jane Meredith. Very clearly to themselves to remember, oh yeah, I'm a human being in a human body. This is my life. Here I am. Put your hands on the desk or the table or on your body or your feet on the ground. Have a mouthful of water, always a good practice. And just come back fully to yourself. And if you don't feel fully back, this call's going to, call live, whatever we're doing, is going to end in a few minutes. So then you could, go for a little walk outside or have a mouthful to eat, do some grounding things, even have a shower if you would want to do that. So I'm just going to talk about some things that I think that if you wanted to do as a follow-up, you could do with this solstice moment and this idea of the gate. And one of them is always to either add to your altar or create something for your altar. Before now, I have actually created out of a piece of cardboard, little gates that opened. And you'd be, of course, welcome to do anything like that. Do a little drawing maybe in your journal and talk about what this moment of the solstice is meaning to you this time, this solstice of this year. You might want to meditate or go for a walk with that concept of, where we are on the earth and the earth carrying us through this longest day or longest night and being intrinsically a part of that. That's some little things that you could do. You might think of other things as well. So we're going to begin wrapping up this live now. That we do have a little space maybe for questions. Any questions for Jane? Not at this moment, perhaps, unless you've got any.
I just posted it. I'm checking if people are commenting on our social media, but it is actually really early. So maybe in Europe, maybe they'll be joining us in comments later. So the moment they join us in comments, we will let you have the questions. So maybe you can directly answer them through the page. So right now there are no live comments.
So wonderful, and maybe that's just perfect as it is. So I do want to talk briefly about the Fringe workshop in particular that I'm doing, which is a whole day. Like, being a part of a conference is marvelous, and having all those people and ideas, and like you get your little 30-minute talking slot, which is actually quite confronting even to stand up and talk for 30 minutes in front of a crowd of people. So it's not like I'd like that to be longer. But the joy of a Fringe workshop is that you do get a whole day to drop into the magic and to really follow and pursue and go in depth into, in my case, a ritual, ceremonial, and personal experience. I've called it the gates of wisdom, and it is following on this idea about gates, and that wisdom is not just something that happens when we get old. It's actually something, like, people often comment that children have wisdom, that we accrue different pieces of wisdom throughout our lives. And maybe, especially if we have very busy lives, we don't have a lot of time to stop and think about that and recognize what those wisdoms are that we're carrying. And I think they're different and particular to each person. So my Fringe workshop, The Gates of Wisdom, is dedicated to finding, locating, ceremonializing some of those gates of wisdom that we each have passed through for ourselves, and in witness and ceremony with the other people in the workshop. I've made it up especially for this conference, never done it before, so please come with me on the journey. It's on the Sunday directly before the conference. You can either add it to your conference ticket or you can come separately. You're very welcome to come. And I just briefly wanted to mention my books, maybe especially my Goddess books, which is Aspecting the Goddess. That's the most recent one of the Goddess books. Journey to the Dark Goddess, which is definitely the most well-known of the Goddess books, and also deals with gates. And Aphrodite's Magic, which is celebrating and healing your sexuality. The whole book is one magical spell. And they're all workbooks. They all have ceremonies, rituals, processes, and suggestions for how to be with this work. On my website, which you're kindly showing there, there's a calendar page which shows all the events that I am doing in the UK so far. And there's a couple of book talks in London and workshops in London, as well as the Goddess Conference things that I'm doing. So I hope I see you in one of those.
Yes, I will really love to remind people to visit your website, which is absolutely stunning and allows you to not only to go through the calendar, but also to visit all the books you spoke about, to buy them, to have a info on them, because sometimes, when you want to buy a book, you want to know what it is about. And in this case, I'm sure many of us will already have your entire catalog. For those of ones missing out, this is the right place to go. So please do visit Jane's website. Jane, since I have you here, can I ask you a bit of what inspired your latest book, which is Falling from the Tree?
Yeah. Like, this is I regard this book, which is weighty, let me say, and lengthy. Like, for me, this is really my life work, I think. Who knows? Like, I think I plan to write lots more books, but never really another one like this. Like, this has got it. This has got me. This has got all of my philosophy, my understanding about magic, about life and death and the universe and sex and all of it, really, bound up in here. It is a Kabbalistic book, and I did set out to, and I think I have achieved, to write a Kabbalah book that people can actually read and understand, which is quite a high bar, even though there are hundreds and thousands of Kabbalah books. So, I mean, that's kind of doing a disservice. I know there are many beautiful books out there. I wanted to write a pagan, embodied, feminist book about the tree of life, which is a fundamental Kabbalistic symbol that denotes the divine, the human, and the earth, and everything in between, and how those two are related. Like, basically explains life, death, and the universe, and everything else in between. It is a big work, the Kabbalah. Like, people spend their lifetimes working it. I certainly have not got anywhere near. You don't even think about the end. The end is irrelevant. The end is, when all the atoms have dispersed so far apart into the universe that the universe really doesn't hold together anymore. So we're all in the tree of life, living beings, breathing atoms, stardust beings. What inspired me to write it? Like, it was a very difficult book to write. It took me 3 years to write, which for me is 3 times the length of an average or any other book. And it was a book, it was in me. I can't, it's a book that's me. Like, if I'm a book, that's me. I don't know that I get very almost Kabbalistic about it. And that is me on the page as good as I can do. And yeah, don't know that I answered your question.
Please do have it, and please do read it, because we want to know more about this. But also, it is so beautiful the way you describe it. I mean, I think we all have a book in ourselves. We want to birth into the world. If this is yours, if this is you, we absolutely want to read it. And again, we want everyone in this live and outside of this live to visit your website. It is so beautiful. Please
Thanks.
do visit and join Meredith on conference and also on all her other events in the UK and in the world. I just wanted to briefly remind people that she'll be joining us again for the Goddess Conference. You can find the program on the website. If you just click up here, where is you can have program and fringe events. If you go to the program, you can find all the presenters, all the activities happening, divided for every single day. So it's a comprehensive presentation of everything happening during conference. Also, I would love people to shout out also to the web team of the Goddess Conference doing wonderful job on this. If you visit the ticket section, you will find there are many ways to participate at the Goddess Conference. So there is the full ticket for the all conference. There is a single day ticket if you're interested in just one of the days of the activities. There is a weekend ticket. It was highly requested, and here it is. There are many different options available to join, and if you don't find the one that suits you, you could try to contact us and see what we can do. But there are many ways to participate, and we wish everyone joining us today would want to join in. It's going to be great to have you here, Jane, Meredith, or there, because I'm not actually physically in Glastonbury right now. So
we're in the interwebs together,
Yes, indeed. So please, everyone, join goddessconference.com. I want to remember once again that the Goddess Conference will be starting on Tuesday, the 1st of August, and ending on Sunday, the 6th of August, with our big parade and procession. As every year, it's a colorful, inclusive conference and event for everyone. This is very important to say. Everyone is invited. Everyone wants to join and celebrate. It's also a great time of the year to celebrate. So why don't we do that? Why don't we allow ourselves to celebrate a bit and to have fun while doing very deep soul work? It's a great occasion, I feel. Jane, again, once again, there is a comment. Marion is here with us. One of the co-organizers of the Goddess Conference is here today. So she, of course, speaks for all of us. Love your work. And Jane has a Fringe on Sunday before. Yes. Yes. I was actually, you were actually better than me with a calendar. So that was punctual. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and for everyone once again watching us. Please do visit Jane's website. Jane, what an honor it has been. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your very skilled facilitation.
That was indeed a pleasure. So to everyone, again, have a great solstice, winter, summer. Take this time to root it in, to ground it, and to open a portal within. Thank you so much, Jane.
Thank you. See you there.